Hey, you remember back in the day, like way long time ago, maybe you have grandparents and they've shared the story of how they got married. For me, my grandparents, one set had gotten married at the courthouse. They got all dressed up. And then after the official ceremony was over, they went back to a family member's house. Somebody had brought them a really big cake that they had made. Another family member had a garden where she used to grow a bunch of flowers, and she had cut some and put them in a little bouquet for my grandmother. And then another family member had taken photos of them. They all ate cake, and that was pretty much their wedding ceremony and celebration. And then I have another family member on the other side of our family who they had some sort of religious official come to their family home where my mother-in-law had grown up. They got married on the land there, and all the family just brought a bunch of food, like dishes to pass. And I think there might have been a bonfire later on, I'm not sure, but my point is somehow the wedding industry has come up with these standards of what a wedding should look like. And when I first started photographing weddings, I kept hearing these similar stresses that were coming from the couple, to the point where so many of them were saying they weren't even looking forward to their wedding anymore. They felt like wedding planning had taken over their lives. And even to the point where after the wedding, back in the day, I would show up with their images for them. And then they would be like, oh, I wish we would have known this. I would have done this differently. Or I wish I could do it all over again. And I just thought, this sucks. Like, how can I help the couples that I work with so that they're not experiencing this? Like, this is a really cool, I don't want to say milestone, but like a really big celebration, something really significant in your life. And I really wanted to make planning fun, and I wanted you to still be excited for your wedding so you weren't burnt out by the time that you got there. So I really started changing my services, and I wanted to reimagine how people plan weddings. And I was reminded of how, like, our grandparents or other people maybe in the past, how they would have gotten married. And it reminded me to sort of, like, how can we filter out the noise? So many times I would hear from my couples saying like, oh, well, my mother-in-law says I need to do this, or my cousin says I should do this. And then they would be second guessing their choices. Or you have that standardized giant checklist and timeline that they have online of like how to plan your wedding. And it sort of makes you feel like there's all these things that need to be done. So we wanted to scrap all that. We completely reimagined, and how we did that is we really put the focus on what you are envisioning for your wedding. And we put together these little things that help you plan your wedding based on what you want instead of what everybody else says you have to do. So I'm super excited. Any of the products that we have, we do that. And the lexicon where we put little bits of information in to help you along the way. All of it has the ethos that we don't want to be telling you all the things that you have to do. We just want to support the vision that you have and help you make it like a complete vision so that you don't feel like you're missing anything or did you forget something. So I hope that all these resources just are a completely relief for you and it brings you so much joy. Please let us know if you have any questions when you're checking out our site. Feel free to email us. We are real people behind the computer and we're excited to cheer you on.